Good morning. It is Saturday at 93.1 WTJS, and that means it's time for Tricks of the Trade. Here's West Tennessee's premier honeydew helper, John Allen.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I am good, sir. How are you making it this morning?
Man, I'm doing okay for a Saturday. It's a little cooler outside, and
going to be a little rainier before the day's over with.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what master meteorologist Eddie Homestead's got about a 60% chance this afternoon.
Well, I'd believe him before I'd believe some of these others.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it could be
Eddie's
snowing
good.
For the day's over with.
You never know. You never know. What Denver was in the hundreds one day and snowing 2 days later.
That was something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a buddy out there in the middle of that. He says, I had my shorts on, and all of a sudden I couldn't wear them anymore.
I had a friend that left to go out there Tuesday, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Bunch of guys going out there, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, they can have it. They can have it.
Oh, well, it's one of those things.
Yeah, it is. It's Saturday morning. It's time to talk to John. If you're in the middle of a honeydew and can't quite get it finished, or you're about to start a project and could use a little helping hand, that's what we're here for. It's what John is here for this morning. You can call us at 731-891-6161. We would love to talk to you. Otherwise, we're going to have to sit here all morning and listen to John
babble.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to text us, that's okay too. We can still read. 731-410-7560 will get you here on the Victory Honda text line. So give us a shout, give us a text, and we want to talk to you. We want to help you this morning.
Yeah, I got fussed at last week. We said we need to give that call-in number out a little more often.
We can do that.
And because they can't remember it, and I couldn't tell you what it is anyway.
You mean this one? 731-891-6161?
That one.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do that more often.
Yeah.
We'll tell you that number, 731-891-6161.
There you go.
Sounds like I know it by heart, don't it?
Well, it sounds like you do, but I don't.
I got my little card over here. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, well, hey, there you go.
Hey, we're also on Facebook Live right now, as a matter of fact. If you want to turn it over there and see the sausage being made, here we go. Y'all.com, leave the apostrophe out. Y'all, YALL.com. Also, News Talk West Tennessee and News Talk Jackson. And it'll be on YouTube a little later in the morning. We're everywhere.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yep.
Hey, I want to ask you something.
Uh-oh. Here it goes.
What, it's funny the things that pop in your head in the middle of the morning when you're making coffee.
Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I pulled out a coffee filter.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind's kind of twisted anyway. But the two things that popped in my mind this morning about when I was making my coffee. So I leads up to a question I'll ask you, see where we go with this.
Shoot.
What was your first radio?
My first radio that I'm listening to or that I'm working for?
No, when you was little.
When I was little, yeah.
Yeah. What kind of radio did you have to listen to music?
Listen to music, and I listened to Cardinal baseball on it, and I'd stick it under the covers at night and listen to Dick Biondi on Chicago WLS 89. It was a 6-transistor Philco. One of them little things had an earbud, that earpiece that went with it, and that's the first one I remember. I remember it had a little fake leatherette case that went with it. That was torn up about three weeks after I got it.
So yours was portable.
Mine was portable.
You could take it around. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I grew up, Daddy always had a radio. It was a maroon Philco that sat on top of the refrigerator, and you had to listen to what was going on during breakfast.
Oh yeah.
And that's back when everybody cooked breakfast.
Yeah. Steve Bowers was actually doing radio then.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm in trouble now. I'm actually 2 months older than Steve. What am I talking about?
Yeah, but anyway, we had this, and it was WDXI.
Yep.
And I don't remember too much about it because all I had was a bunch of whiny country music on it at that time.
Yep.
And but as time progressed, I got what they called this crystal radio. Mm-hmm. You ever had a crystal radio?
No, but I know what you're talking about. I don't think I ever had one. If I did, I didn't know it.
Yeah, it was a little cute little thing, a little coil of wire and a little silver rock with a crystal in the middle of it.
Right.
And like a woodpecker, you'd bend that thing down and stick it on top of it, and I could pick up WLS out of Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
so that I could listen to Michael Jackson, I Want You Back. Kind of crazy. But anyway.
I'd have gotten me a different radio if that's all I could
Well,
get.
that was just kind of one of those things back then. But
I know.
but where this leads to is I didn't have a portable radio.
Yeah.
You know, you had to plug it in.
Yep.
But we ran across a yard sale one time. And I'm going to get with you on coffee filters in a minute.
Okay.
And this radio had a feature on it that became quite useful. It was called an external speaker port.
Ooh.
Now, they didn't call it a port back then. It was just two screws that you could hook a wire on.
There you go.
All right.
I remember.
So I could turn this radio around.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Radio Shack and got me a 50-foot roll of speaker wire. And then I cannibalized 2 speakers out of 2 old radios that didn't work.
Right.
And I could hook that wire to the speakers and the other end to the back of that radio. And here I go traipsing through the house back to my room, dragging a cord with 2 raw speakers, like you just took them out. It didn't have a cabinet, just the speakers.
Yeah.
Well, I had me a little, I could listen, and also I could tie it in to a turntable and listen to, it's hard to talk with this stuff smelling in the background right now.
No, the sausages are cooking.
Oh, man, it smells so good up here. But anyway, that was my first radio. Well, when I got to cranking it up,
Right.
sooner or later, one of those speakers broke. And an old buddy of mine says, well, I'll tell you how to fix that speaker. Says, all you do is get you some glue, and you saturate the back side of that with this glue, and take an old coffee filter and put it on the front and let it dry. Now, the coffee filter was flexible enough. I don't know if that's the right term or not.
Yeah.
But anyway, but you could put that on there and it would work, and you wouldn't get that crackling sound like you had with a broke speaker.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
kept it from flapping.
That just popped in my crazy head this morning. and then the other thing was dragging a coffee filter out of my toolbox and use it to put up brad nails. You know, you got big fingers like I do, and it's hard to hold them little bitty tiny nails.
Yes.
So you could take a coffee filter or a piece of paper or a napkin and stick your brad nail in the corner of it and hold that up there.
Yep.
Tap it with your hammer and then yank the paper off.
Right.
And coffee filters tear real good, so it was a good thing, and it was stiff enough. You fold it up and put it back in your pocket. So
Yep.
there's your 2 good uses for coffee filter.
And coffee, making coffee is still allowable also.
Yeah,
But
I got a cup of coffee out of the deal this morning too.
Take the brad nails out of the filter before you do that.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
you gave me that hint one time before. I forgot what it was, but I was using those little bitty brass nails,
Yeah.
and I couldn't, kept hammering my thumb into the wall. So
Yeah.
you said take a piece of paper, push it through, hold it where you want it, and then tear it off. Well, did I follow instructions? No. Much like the stalactite in the ceiling, I used the wrong thing, right? I used an index card, thinking that it would I could hold it up there better. So every time I'd get the nail where I wanted, I would gently pull down on the index card and jerk the whole thing out of the wall, and here we go again. So use paper or a coffee filter, not an index card, because it'll pull the nail loose when you try to disengage it. And make sure you use Colgate toothpaste if you're repairing a ceiling.
There you go.
Crest will not do it.
Well, you live and learn. It's one of those things.
I laugh about that. Every time I go up in my office, I see that little indentation over there where that happened, and it just cracks me up every time, man. It was like walking off into Mammoth Cave when I came back that day.
It's kind of fun. Well, anyway.
When you get instructions, follow the instructions. Don't ad-lib it. I mean, that's what I do for 2 hours a day. That's okay, but don't do that when you're trying to fix something. I told you off mic today, my chore for the day is, I noticed the other day when I was outside that there's some wasps, as we say down here, waspices.
Waspices.
Yeah, and They're coming in into my soffits out on my covered porch in the back, coming in where there's a small opening where the out floodlight is bolted up in there, and they're coming in there. Well, I kind of thought, well, it looks like it's just a couple, but the more I sat there, the more came and went. So I thought maybe I better do something about that. Well, I wasn't going to stand up there on a ladder and.
No, that's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing. So I stopped at one of our great sponsors, Ace Hardware, and picked me up some Raid with a 22-foot maximum squirt distance.
You'll be glad you got that extra 2 foot, because most of them are just 20.
Yeah. This one said 22, so I got 10% more.
That's
Toby
right.
Lee told me where to get that, by the way.
Huh.
the 10% more.
I'm sure you got a deal on it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I'm going to squirt washes this afternoon if everything goes well.
Well, be careful.
Yep.
You're not as spry as you used to.
No,
be.
I can't get away from them like I used to.
They're sneaky. Mm-hmm. They run interference on you.
Yeah, they do.
And then one of them will sneak in behind, and next thing you know, he done got you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pow, right in the back of the neck.
Oh, yeah. I hate it when they get you on the ear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that just makes a spot.
That's a Bernie. Have we given the phone number today?
I don't know. I can't remember.
731-891-6161. If we didn't, we just did.
Well, yeah. Well, somebody's got something, because they keep calling my phone over here, and I just turned it off.
Well, call us on the other phone. Otherwise, I can patch John's phone in here, maybe.
No, we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. Okay. So, and also the text line, Victor Honda text line 731-410-7560. That'll get you in the text board. And we'd love to talk to you this morning. Surely somebody is in trouble out there, and you don't want the wife to know why you can't finish that project.
I did get a couple of comments from last week's show about little funny farm tales and chitlins.
Yeah.
And it was quite comical. I must have hit a little sloppy nerve when I told that story.
Yeah, you probably hit a subject that some people, they've reached a certain status in life, and they don't want to admit they ever knew about things like that. Yeah.
It's amazing how many people don't know what a chitlin is.
I know. It's very similar for those of you if you like to eat and you're stupid like I am. Country boy went to the city, and I love veal. I like veal. But nobody told this old boy that there was something called sweetbreads of veal.
Oh, yes.
Which I ordered at a fancy restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina. Oh, that was awful.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't so much the flavor. It was that every time you'd bite down, it would get twice as big. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So watch out for sweetbreads of anything.
That's right. I learned about those in the Peabody many years ago. What was that what's that fancy restaurant? Chez Philippe?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have sweetbreads every now and then.
Oh, yeah. This was in downtown Charleston. It's a beautiful restaurant, great place. It was I guess it's still there. It's called Mary Ann's.
Huh.
It was hoity and toity all at the same time, and they had sweetbreads. I wound up eating my dessert. I think my dessert cost me $48 that night.
How many of them did you get?
One, because I didn't eat the rest of the veal. That's what the whole shooting match was.
Oh, it was one of them package deals.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a piece of pie.
Five course
48.
meal. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that dumb.
Well, I'll do anything
Although,
once,
if it's chocolate, I could get that way real quick. Call John Allen this morning. This is Tricks of the Trade, and we're having a good time. We'd love for you to join in with us. Seriously, 731-891-6161. We'll put you on the board. And text us at the usual text number, 410-7560. Come on, West Tennessee, wake up. Those of you listening on WKBL down in Covington, Tennessee, 1250. What's going on over in Tipton County this morning?
It was happening Thursday afternoon over there. I went through Covington, and there was a lot of activity going on. Everybody was in the street. Yeah, we were paving the road.
Oh, I thought you meant they were trying to be
No, there's no
hidden, am I-
protesting or anything. They were just
Okay.
all little yellow shirts
I see.
everywhere, and they were paving
Yeah, yeah.
everybody was walking out there.
You said in the street.
I did.
I
They were
thought you
in the
said they
street.
were all being indiscreet.
Oh no.
Oh,
No,
okay. Different
nobody's
thing.
indiscreet in Covington.
The town's too small. That's right. So Jackson's the same way.
Everybody knows everything.
Oh,
well.
man. What else can we get into this
Well,
morning?
I'm
See if we
gonna-
can
I'm
see if we
gonna-
can tickle somebody's
I'm gonna
bone. What?
tell you what I had to do this morning or yesterday. But go ahead. We got something over there.
Someone who knows not what he's about to eat. He's in the same boat that I was.
Uh-oh.
Just what is sweetbread? I know all about chitlins, but never heard of sweetbreads.
That's a gland in your neck of a baby cow.
Yeah, a calf or a veal.
Calf.
Yeah.
That has been set over in a stall in the dark, never allowed to grow up. He just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
No, they won't even let him walk around. It's really a horrible thing.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, and then they butcher the little fellas, and
Yep.
and then they get the sweetbread out of them. But
Right.
It's a nasty little thing, but it's quite a delicacy.
Yeah, they say it is. I never got to that point. I was
Yeah.
just trying to figure out how not to get it out of my mouth without being thrown out of the restaurant.
One of these Saturdays we'll go into another little story about brains and eggs, and we'll talk about that too. But we'll spread some of this out.
Because somebody just lost their sausage and biscuit
No,
by your description.
No,
Keeping
brains
that
and
poor
eggs
little
are good.
cow in the dark. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I knew they were like pampered, shall we say?
Oh no, they just like braced up in a stall, not allowed to move around, and it's really an ugly process.
I'm
You
surprised
probably
you-
wouldn't want to eat it if you knew how you got
Well,
it.
I don't.
Yeah.
And now that I know that, I don't even more.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, thank you, Texter. That's what sweetbreads is all about. This one was covered with a wonderful little sauce. I mean, it's kind of a wine and cream sauce. It was,
Oh, yeah.
the flavor was great. It was just that they kept getting bigger and bigger and
and
bigger.
it has some little capers with it.
Yes,
That
yes,
makes it
yes.
just special.
There you go. There you go. Yep. See this, man. You got class that you've been hiding, man.
I tell you what, capers, them little green bugs. I thought they was English peas at one time. I wouldn't eat them till I knew what they were.
So much for those. This you're one person. I know several people that don't like them, but you just absolutely hate them.
I can't stand them. It had nothing to do with the pea. It was the presenter.
Yeah, I understand.
And she knew I didn't care for them, so she made them for me all the time.
Uh huh.
Oh, I hated that
And
woman.
expected you to eat them before you left the table.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just pass them to me right when you
Yeah.
sat down. Said,
Yeah.
"Here, Johnny, have some of these."
Here, Grandma.
Anyway.
Take them away.
Anyway, I'll
okay,
tell you
now,
what I've been doing this
Thank
week.
you, Texter.
We'll get back to business right now.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We got a wonderful company here in town that produces a product that goes all over the world, and many people have them in the kitchen, and it's Delta Faucet Company.
Mm-hmm.
And they make some great products, and I'm a big fan of Delta, but the main reason I am a big fan of Delta, it's so easy to work on.
Right.
And I don't know what, things just kind of comes in droves in my business. You get to fixing one thing, and next thing you know, you're fixing a bunch of them. I'll bet I have changed out 15 or 20 repair kits in Delta faucets. The stems and the,
Right.
they don't have washers. They got seats and springs.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
You don't have washers in anything anymore.
I certainly don't have a grommet, I bet you.
No, they don't.
Hey, we got a call coming in. You want to take?
Yeah, go
he,
ahead.
He may need some help with a grommet.
Let's do that.
We just don't know. All right, let me punch him in here. And morning, Texter. Caller.
Good morning. Welcome to Tricks of the Trade.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hey, John.
What's going on?
That's me.
Yeah. Yep. That should be you.
You got a problem. Put your electrical hat on for a second.
Okay.
I've got about a master bedroom and for some reason it's all attached into a hall, the living room, in the back patio.
Okay.
Breaker started throwing. I would flip the breaker, and the lights would work. All right, about 3 weeks ago, breaker threw. The master bedroom, and I would reset the breaker. The master bedroom only works now. The other lights will not come on. The breaker's good. I actually replaced the breaker, thinking that was the problem. But the master bedroom light works all the time, but the other lights do not. There's about, I guess, 4 or 5 switches. I'm not, and I've had every switch tested. They're all hot, but there's about 5 lights in the living room, patio, and hall that will not work.
Okay.
Any clue?
How old is your house?
Built in 09.
2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not okay. I would almost bet you that you have a problem up in the junction of the bedroom ceiling box. What kind of fixture have you got up there? Is it a light fixture or a ceiling fan?
Well, the bedroom, it's the master bedroom closet. Master bathroom closet, I'm sorry, that is the only light in the bedroom that's out. But it's in the living room is where the lights won't come on now.
Okay. Well,
I would have never thought they would have been attached until the breaker blew and all those lights went out at the same time.
well, yeah, they're attached.
I guess they're in our string.
Yeah, they're in the same circuit, and you've got one cable jumping from one fixture to the other, and then your hot wire is broken by the switch that you're flipping off and on the wall. And I'll almost bet you that if you dropped the fixture and looked at the wiring junctions up there in the ceiling, you're going to probably find maybe a wire that has jumped out of the wire nut, and it's grounding against either your ground wire or your neutral, and you've got a connection that's come loose and arcing up there because something is causing that breaker to trip out. So that's where I would start looking. I'd almost bet that's the case. If you get up there and look at that and everything looks okay, and you don't have anything loose, or you don't have any wires that are discolored where they might have gotten hot or wasn't making a good connection,
Right.
then you might go, if all that looks good and everything looks normal, you might want to go up in the attic. You hadn't had any trouble with any critters or anything like squirrels or coons or anything like that up there, have you?
No.
Okay. You know, sometimes things will get up in the attic and they'll get to gnawing on the wires, and it's very common around here, and that will cause things to trip out. But I would say that first light you were talking about that went out and then it came on and the other ones went out, that's probably the fixture that your problems is in. So just pull that one down.
And it's the
pull it
one
down.
that's actually working right now.
Right, but it jumps from there to the next fixture. And that
And that would cause the rest of them not to work.
That's right.
If that was
Right. Everything else in the line will be going out. So I'll almost bet you your problem is right there in that ceiling fixture.
cool. All right. I didn't know if it could be an individual switch along the way that
No.
killed it the rest of the way, but
No. Where it jumps from one light to the other, that power source, the switch will have nothing to do with it. Otherwise, if you flip the switch in your bedroom, the lights in the rest of the circuit would go out. It doesn't do that. It's everything's switched individually. Right. So no, I think you're going to find your problem is in the junction of that first fixture.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, let me know how it comes out, okay?
Will do. Thank you.
All right, appreciate the phone call.
Yeah, thank you, caller. We appreciate that. We need to take about a 2-minute break here very quickly and hear from our sponsors. And callers, jump in the line. It's 731-891-6161 or the text at 410-7560. John will be more than happy to talk to you. And after this break, we'll let him do that.
Okay.
Known for excellence in office solutions, prides itself on delivering high-quality products and services with a uniquely personal approach. XMC provides sales, leasing, service, and supplies, and is an authorized sales agent of Xerox. Xerox offers innovative document solutions, including printers, digital presses, multifunction devices, and digital copiers. Visit xmcinc.com today and learn how Xerox and XMC is expanding its portfolio to help boost worker productivity, enhance collaboration, and reduce costs.
This is Tammy Reed with Hickman Realty. Buying and selling a home is your largest investment. Why would you trust that to just anyone? With over 300 properties sold in 2019, no other real estate agent or team sells more real estate in West Tennessee than the Reed Nelson team. Time-tested experience is the key to getting you the most money for your home. Put your largest investment in the trusted hands of the Reed Nelson team. Call me today, 616-6000, 664-1006. Visit our website at reedteam.com.
Hi, I'm Rodney D.
And I'm Geraldine.
For a long time, we've been telling you about Dave's Automotive Service.
But here's some things you may not know.
Dave's is the oldest and most experienced shop in the county.
He has great prices on oil changes.
Dave also does tune-ups, brake repair, and engine repair.
And he has the most updated diagnostic equipment for vehicle repair. Like when that service engine soon light comes on, he can check it out in a flash.
So if your ride's on the blink and need some TLC, don't grab a hammer, just grab the phone and dial 696-4351 and set up an appointment today.
Dave's Automotive, located on Highway 88 between Alamo and Murray City at the 412 intersection.
Dave knows autos. Oh, by the way, I never found my hammer, did you?
Yeah, but I gave it away.
Why?
Well, if you keep working on things with it, soon we won't have anything left.
You never let me do nothing.
I don't feel like I'm 23 anymore. Lack of energy during the day, difficulty sleeping, reduced mental focus and memory, weight gain, including belly fats, reduced sexual desire, and performance. Studies show after the age of 30, most people produce 3 to 10% less hormones each year, and I felt it. I decided to do something about it. But I didn't want 152 shots of synthetic testosterone per year. What I discovered is changing my life. All testosterone replacement is not the same. Hormone pellets contain the same chemical structure as your body's natural hormones. They're placed under the skin and release bioidentical testosterone consistently to the bloodstream and last up to 6 months. Same thing with estrogen for females. I feel great. I don't want youth wasted on the young. I want it wasted on me. Feeling better for you can start with a simple phone call.
Dr. Shannon Bone at Advanced Rehab and Medical. It's 731-503-4277. That's 503-4277. Call today. 731-503-4277. You'll be glad you did.
Saturday morning on WTJS 93.1 FM. Glad to have you along with us. News Talk for West Tennessee. And it is a typical Saturday morning. That means things need to be done. And here's a guy that can help you get them done, John Allen.
You know, we're going to talk a little bit about taking care of a drippy faucet this morning.
Let's do that.
And things kind of come in threes. I've always said that. And I have, this week alone, myself changed out 14 stems in faucets, which means that's 7 faucets because
Right.
there's 2 on each one. And luckily for me, because it's so easy,
Yeah.
they were Delta faucets. You know, these little 2-handle faucets you got in your lavatory.
Yeah.
And they got the little crystal knobs on them.
Oh, yeah.
and people get a drip, and I don't know why they think that they got to panic over that, because they're so easy to change out. So, you know, we got Delta here in Jackson, and they sell their parts just about at all stores, and all you need is a Phillips head screwdriver, which
Got
you've
one.
got, and a pair of channel locks or pliers, as we say around here.
Yep. I got one of them too.
Yeah, and some tweezers, and or at least that's what I use.
Yeah.
And you can fix one. They're so easy. So if you kind of wondered about that, here's what I'm going to tell you. Get your pocket knife out. You're going to need that for a minute too.
Right.
And you take your pocket knife and you wiggle it under the cap, on the top of your little acrylic handle. You know, one set's got an H on it, one's got a C. That's
Right.
hot and cold. Well, you pop that little cap off, take your Phillips head screwdriver, look down in there, and you unscrew that screw, which will allow you to take the handle off.
Yeah.
Now, before I go any farther, turn the water off.
In fact, rewind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn the water off first.
Yeah.
If you don't, something bad's going to happen.
Right.
But anyway, turn the water off.
At the
Take
meter.
the pressure off the line. Yeah, it's better to do it at the meter, but if you just can't do it, most everybody has cutoffs underneath the sink right now.
Yeah.
It's just that if you go to wiggling those and they hadn't been messed with in 20 or 30 years, they may start leaking too, which will make you have a bigger problem. So the safest bet is to go out to the meter and turn the water off. So here you go.
Okay.
You popped off the C and the H. You backed
you
out the Phillips screw that holds a handle on, and you pull the handle off.
Okay.
Then you take your pliers, as they say,
Yep.
and you back off that bonnet nut right there.
Okay.
And you take it off, set it to the side, and then grab the stem and wiggle it as you're pulling up, and it will pull that stem right out. There's nothing else to it. No unscrewing it, just pops straight out. Now you'll see a little notch on the top of those stems, and they're pointing at one another.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that you put them back that way. Otherwise, your handles won't turn the right way.
Yep.
But anyway, you pull the stem out, and you look down in the hole where the stem was. You're gonna see two little things looking up at you. Got little raccoon eyes, little round disc, little cups.
Yeah.
And you reach down there with your tweezers and pull those up. And now you'll pull that, and it's got a little spring in behind it. So now you've got the whole assembly out in your hand, and you get your repair kit out.
Okay.
Then with your tweezers, you put your spring, a new spring, back down in there. With the spring kind of cones up. You'll put the fat side down, with the narrower side up, and then take those little seats, as they saw.
Okay,
Yeah, they
seats.
call them seats. And you'll put that down on top of the spring. It fits right down on top of it.
Right.
Then you pull out your new stem, and you put it right back down in the two little notches that you had. Put your bonnet nut back on. Put your handle back on. Tighten your Phillips head screw back up that holds the handle on, and then pop your C or your H back in the top of it. Turn the water on, and you're done. It's just
It
a simple.
sounds easy.
It's real easy. And now, if you've got one of these deals, it's a single handle.
Uh-huh.
Now, they're really the same thing, except there's a few more parts that you may even have to read the instructions on some of them. Now, that'll get most men right there.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, but if you'll at least remember the sequence that you took them out and put it back in the same way, it's the same principle. But very inexpensive. Very affordable, easy to work on, and the parts are right here. So, that's a real asset to Jackson to have a company like that, because you go everywhere in any town, everybody's got a Delta faucet.
Oh, yeah.
And just to think, they're made right here. They're like Pringles.
True.
And
Now, we talked about this once before when we were talking about faucets back on the Thursday show.
it is okay.
That even though you got a Delta faucet and it says Delta on the box, and you take it home with you, and everything looks good, but there is a difference. Delta doesn't have just one line. They have less expensive ones and more expensive.
Yeah,
ones.
they do, and some of them have got real brass insides, and others have got plastic housings.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those things you get what you pay for.
Right.
But to look at them from the outside, while they may look the same, they may not be the same.
Right.
So always stick with the good stuff and get metal components and the brass, and
Yep.
you'll get many, many years of life out of it.
Yeah. If you have a question, you can heft one of them, as they used to say. Pick it up and compare it to the one that's $50 more.
Yeah.
And you'll know right away.
That's
that
exactly
there
right.
is a difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference. in it.
Oh, yeah. Got a text coming in and said it's a lot easier than roofing a house.
Yes, it is.
And a lot cooler in most
Isn't that the truth?
situations.
Yeah, it is. But you can fix a lot of this stuff yourself. They try to make everything easy, but you don't just have to run out and buy a new faucet.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a little package of springs for a couple of bucks, and a stem for $4 or $5, and it's just you got a new faucet right there.
Yeah, and it works like a champ. If
It
you
does.
just one thing I think a lot of people don't do, the casual guy's going to do this every 4 or 5 years maybe, is they forget to make a mental or a real note of the sequence that you took them out. Then you got all these parts laying there, and you got them, the new ones in your hand. You're going, let's see, is the spring fat side up or skinny side up? Did the cups go inside of each other, and they next to So make yourself a trail.
Yeah, and I've been told, although I hadn't done this, you can YouTube it, and it'll walk you right through it.
Yep.
That's just wrong.
But it's there.
But it's there. I mean, a lot of people are doing that now,
Yep.
and they'll teach you just enough to really get in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you got to call somebody else to straighten it out.
Yep.
But it's all right. It's one of those things.
We had a van. My wife had a van, and it had a console between the middle set of seats, captain's chairs with a second console in it, which was great when there was just 2 or 3 of us doing what we were doing. But when the grandkids came along and we needed to get more easily to the 3rd row seat, that thing needed to go. Well, I couldn't figure it out. I did find one electrical connection that I knew had to be unplugged. I could do that. So I called my son, and he says, YouTube it. So I typed in the make of the car, the model of the car, and I said, remove 2nd row console. I got 2 videos that showed me every step of the way. Now, what they didn't tell me is the thing was torqued in there by a mule. I finally had to call Michael to come over because he had a little more heft in his shoulders and arms than I did.
Oh,
but
man.
we got the thing out of there, and I laid the carpet back over it, and you'd think it was supposed to be that way. I mean, it's crazy. We got 2 texts coming in here.
All right.
Let's see. Mr. John, can you explain how to fix a frost-proof hydrant, the one that you buy? The one that you bury. And if I buy one, what is the best brand to buy, red or blue?
Well, I like the blue ones. And if it's a yard hydrant and it's standing up, it's really easy. You just got one pipe going to it that you'll unscrew. And the thing that people don't understand on these yard hydrants is what makes them frost-proof is that they don't keep water in the shaft. The washer is down at the bottom under the ground.
Right.
And all you've got is a rod that goes up and ties to your lever handle that you have on the top.
Yeah.
Now, as far as red or blue, there's no difference in them. They're just colors.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why do they offer you a choice then?
Because if some people use them to hook up hot water to them.
So you want
Yeah, so the red's going to be hot and the blue's going to be cold.
Okay.
And so anyway, that's that. But you got to dig it up, and then you got to get your line apart. And I wouldn't know what kind of line they have to know what they're going to need to put it back together. But you can figure that out. If nothing else, you can YouTube it.
You're going to put us out of business.
Yeah. The thing I find that most people mess up on when they change those out is they don't get them stabilized in the ground. You need to, I like to put a little concrete around mine, but just don't put it around the fittings, because that'll eat through your metal. Let all that be below your concrete, and put a little concrete at the top, about the last 6 inches before you get out of the ground.
Yeah.
And that way you don't run the risk of bending it over and snapping your water line and doing all that.
Yeah,
so that ought to be a good deal.
Yeah, there you go, Texter. Thank you. Appreciate that. Another text coming in. This is right down your alley.
Uh-oh.
Put your white suit on, your white coat on. Here it comes.
All right.
I just heard a report yesterday that gave lifespan of new appliances, HVAC, washers, dryers, dishwashers, etc. And I was amazed at how short their lifespan is these days versus a few years ago. It was interesting.
That's right. Disposable society.
Disposable world, yep.
Prices go up.
Quality goes
down. And I've lost count of, and let's take water heaters, for instance. I have changed out many of water heaters that have been 30 and 40 years old.
Yep.
And nowadays, if you get 8-10 years out of one, you're lucky. Heating and air systems, this is the one that'll really kick you.
Yep.
They're only designed to last 10, 12 years. And yet 30, 40 years used to be the norm, although, and you could interchange them, and change things out. But now the replacement parts and all to try to rebuild one or put a new heat exchanger or something in it is such that it's just, you're almost better off to change it out. But
true.
Yeah, the life expectancy is horrible. Refrigerators are even worse than that. Dishwashers. And why in the world, talking about dishwasher, I used to get a dishwasher.
Yep.
And you turned it on, and in 30 minutes, you had your dishes done.
Tell me about that.
Now, it takes 2 hours to run a load of dishes.
Yep.
But the one that just kills me more than anything are ovens. Now, I cook. I make no bones about it. I use the oven a lot. Used to, you could turn that oven, or when I had a real old one, you could spin that knob over all the way and click it and then turn it back to preheat your oven.
Right.
In just a matter of minutes, it could be 350, 375, and there you're ready to put your cake in. Now, getting an oven to warm up
is impossible.
It's a half a day.
Yeah.
It is. I have never seen anything so slow in all my life, and I don't understand it.
Right. I don't either. Knock on wood, the oven in my kitchen is the only major appliance that we haven't had to replace yet. Microwave's gone, cooktop's been gone, refrigerator's been gone, dishwasher, I think we're on the third dishwasher.
Oh, your microwave, you don't even try to fix those.
No.
It's like looking at something in NASA in there. Just throw it out in the yard or tie a rope around it, use it as a boat anchor or something like that. But
there you go.
Just go get you another one, because we've come a long way from the radar range.
Radar range.
Yeah.
That's right. What's on the radar range?
Yeah.
You're listening to John Allen with Tricks of the Trade on 93.1 WTJS News Talk West Tennessee. We're going to take a 90-second break, and we'll be back and wrap this thing up. Stay with us.
Hey, Dan.
Hang on.
Dan.
Hang on.
Danny.
Whoa. What?
Let's sell this house and buy another.
Say what?
Seriously, this was your house when we got married. We need to find our house.
Emily, mi casa es tu casa.
Your bachelor pad is my bachelor pad?
Okay, babe, look, if we're going to do this, we have to call the Greer Real Estate Group.
Oh, I like them. They really care about their clients, and they know what they're doing.
Well, Brad's hobby is construction and repair. He can help us with what we need to get our house ready for the market.
And I like Jennifer. She's kind, helpful, and handles all the paperwork.
And Jonathan Greer, he's like a son to me.
Speaking of children...
Now, wait a minute. We've got Freddie and Susie.
They're cats, Dan.
Wow, that's getting serious. I'm Brad Greer with Greer Real Estate Group. Jen, John, and the other agents at Greer Real Estate Group don't do family planning, but we do know how to help people with buying or selling a house. Give Greer Real Estate Group a call at 300-4100 and let us show you why our clients refer us to their friends.
Dan, we have to have a pool.
Oh, jeez.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español?
Hablo.
It's hablo?
Yes.
It's hablo.
Bom dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say, je m'appelle David, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely going to help me do that. The app is so easy to use, and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
I've tried other language learning apps and nothing really stuck. Babbel's been a complete game changer for me.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno afuera.
Estou com fome. Eu não tomei café de manhã.
Je suis des États-Unis et du Viens-tu.
Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com to start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Here at Jackson Off-Road, we are a complete automotive service center that does work on area business fleets, servicing and repairing both diesel and gas engines. Our experienced technicians and advanced technology will upgrade your company's vehicle's performance, saving you significant dollars. Graham Snack Food said, Jackson Off-Road keeps our fleet of vehicles on the road in a timely manner, regardless of what repairs are required or what time of the day or night we call for service or repair. Jackson Off-Road, online and on the 45 bypass.
Known for his portrayal of Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, as well as his role in Apollo 13, Gary Sinise will be the guest speaker for the 56th benefit dinner at Freed-Hardeman University. For more than 30 years, Gary Sinise has stood as an advocate of America's servicemen and women. Join us December 4th for an evening of great food and entertainment while providing scholarships for students. The FHU Benefit Dinner with Gary Sinise. For details, visit fhu.edu.
It is indeed. It's a Saturday morning. This is Tricks of the Trade with John Allen. The phone numbers, if you'd like to join us, and we'd love to have you. In fact, we just had one ring in. 731-891-6161. Go ahead and make your call and get in the queue, as they say. And the text number is 731-410-7560. John, let's go to the phones right here. Give it a second to kick in, and go for it.
Good morning and welcome. Are you there?
I think I got the wrong number. Sorry.
That's all right. We'll be glad to talk to you anyway.
Well, he called me. I answered. It had to be the right number. So,
no problem. No problem.
Oh, well. Hey, while we was dabbling in electrical a little while ago, we run across a situation where people have their table lamps go out all the time.
Yeah.
And as I said, we live in a disposable society, but there's some things just too pretty to throw away.
True. And too valuable.
And especially if it's so easy to fix, like putting a plug on the end of your lamp cord. And anybody ought to be able to do that. But there is a little thing that makes you kind of perplexed that you probably never noticed. You go to plug something in, and you got those little prongs that go in your receptacle.
Right.
And one's fat and one's skinny.
Yep.
And the reason it's that way is called a thing called polarity.
I remember him.
Yeah, that's right. He was that cold fellow in the North Pole.
That's right.
Anyway, you got to get your polarity right, and that's a way to keep it from getting mixed up. So your positives and your negatives don't mess up and throw sparks. But when you're looking at a lamp cord, just two little wires that are together coming out of your lamp. How do you know which one to put on the one the fat, which one's on the skinny?
Huh.
So I'm gonna tell you.
Good, because I don't know.
Well, if you look at that lamp cord real close, one of those strands of wire has got it's got little ribs on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, ribs
Yeah.
side, and one side don't. You always put the ribbed, RIBBED wire onto the fat side.
Okay.
And that'll get you hooked up right, so you won't be what they call backwards.
Backwards,
that's right. So always put the rib side on the fat side of the plug, and you'll get your polarity right.
Right.
So, speaking of that, I got a little story for you.
All
True story. I've told this story many times in another world I was in at one time. So,
and it's still true.
But it's still true.
All right.
Rural area, extremely rural.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not even sure there was running water there. But this little bitty grandma, bless her heart, she wasn't hardly 4 foot tall, calls up. She says, "You got to get out here now." I says, "Well, ma'am, I can't get there right now. It may be this afternoon." "I don't care as long as you get down out here before the sun goes down. I got a problem." And I says, well, what is it? She says, "Well, I keep blowing these light bulbs. Every time I screw one in, it blows." And I says, "Well, I think I can figure that out for you." She says, "Well, I know what the problem is, but I can't get anybody to believe me."
Oh, boy.
I said, "Okay, I'll be right there this afternoon." So I went out there.
Yep.
Met me at the door. And I said, "Well, show me the light that keeps blowing out." She said, "You don't need to look at that. That's not where the problem is. It's out here." I said, "Okay." And I go out there, and she looks up at that wire coming down from the telephone pole into her house.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "You see that?" See, that pole's a whole lot higher than my house is, and I don't know what that big round thing is out there on that pole, but it's letting too much electricity run into my house, and it's blowing my light bulbs.
Oh, Lord.
I said, well, ma'am, in order for me to consider that, I really got to look at your light fixture inside first. She says, I told you the problem wasn't in there. I said, but I got to fix that in order to fix your problem. I knew I didn't have any. I could argue with you all day long, and it wouldn't do any good.
Sure, she had her mind made up.
That's right. So she says, all right. And I says, well, let me get my step ladder. So I went up there, and I knew not to say a word. I just went up into the ceiling where the light fixture was and found the problem, but didn't tell her what it was.
Right.
And fixed it. Then I went outside before I flipped the light on. She says, all right, now we're going to get down to what the real problem is. I says, yep. She says, it's got too much electricity coming into my house. I said, no, ma'am, that's right. She says, no, it's not. I said, yes, ma'am, we got a little safety device out here. I said, you follow that wire coming down from the telephone pole. Now, when it gets to where your weather head is, where your meter is, you see how it droops down, makes a droop and comes back up? She says, yeah. I said, that slows it down. And says, and I went in there when I was in your ceiling, and I got that fixture apart, and I fixed the problem because I slowed it down a little more. What'd you do? I said, I put a knot in the wire.
Ooh.
She said, you did what? I said, yeah, I tied a little knot in the wire, and that slowed it down. Now, if you'll go in there and flip that switch, everything will be just fine. She flipped the switch, and she says, well, I'll be. I ain't never seen that. You know what you're talking about, don't you? I said, yes, ma'am. Her name was Lulu.
Lulu. Yeah, of course.
We called her Aunt Lulu. She wasn't family, but I just known her all my life.
Right.
But she just, some people, there wasn't no telling her what the problem was. You just had to appease her, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But now the light fixture, now she passed about 20 years ago. And I don't know who bought the house, but I guarantee you that light still works because I still got that knot in that wire up there that slowed it down.
Slowed that thing down. Oh, have mercy. It was picking up speed coming down from that high pole.
It was racing down there. Some of that high velocity electricity.
What was the real problem? Naked wire?
It was a wire had come loose on the neutral side, and it was arcing up there, just about burned the wire up.
Yeah.
But I cleaned it off, snipped off the bad spot, stripped the wire, and tied the connection back together.
A knot in
See,
it.
This was an old house, and you didn't have wire nuts like you do now.
Yeah.
Everything's taped up.
Sure.
Because it was old knob and tube wiring.
Yeah.
And once I got that taken care of and put a wire nut on it, it works just fine.
That is crazy.
But there's just some people, you can't tell them that. They got their mind made up, and if you don't listen to them, it's like you're arguing with you. And I didn't want to be that young whippersnapper that came out there and tried to tell them what was wrong when she already knew.
She already knew what was wrong before you ever set foot on the property.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, everybody knows folks like that. Though,
That's right.
You know, there's and that, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just the way they're built. You know.
Well, it is.
But if you have said in some working situations before, the best thing to do with somebody who has got their mind made up is to make them think that project was their idea, let them get the credit for it, and you're off and running.
That's right.
And it works.
It is. I mean, nobody wants to, you don't want to make them feel like a fool or that they were silly or something like that. And because you will never get another call after that.
That's
true. Just humor them.
And 50 years later, you couldn't talk about them on the radio.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now, she ain't jumped up and slapped me yet, but anyway, it's one of those things.
Yep. Got about 5 minutes left in the show. We'd love to hear from you this morning. 731-891-6161 is the call-in number. 731-410-7560 on the Victory Honda text line.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and start giving my warning.
Warning.
I'm going to do this for many, many weeks until we have our first hard freeze.
Okay.
To tell people to get ready. But I'm going to tell you now, if you want to start getting ready for winter, make it a habit of unscrewing the hose to your outside faucet.
Right.
I've lost count. It exceeds 20 already of outside faucets that are supposedly frost-proof, that they left the garden hose hooked up to it, and everybody has a nozzle on the other end where they wash the car off and all that. And that little tube on that frost-proof faucet will freeze, and you won't know it until you turn the water back on and flood your house.
It thaws out.
That's right. And I'm telling you, you just need to unscrew your water hose and do that. Don't worry about putting one of them little stupid plastic styrofoam cups on the outside of it. You don't need it.
I like my stupid plastic styrofoam cup.
Well, you just go ahead and put it on there. Like as we said in that last story, some people you just can't argue with them.
That's true.
Just go ahead and
I figured if it's good enough for your son, it's good enough for me.
Well, that's right.
There you go. So
that was a ritual back when I grew up in October.
Yep.
You had to get the old newspaper, plastic bag, a piece of baling wire,
yes, sir,
and an old nail keg, and go wrap up the faucet that was standing up in the front yard, and then wrap it up and put your plastic on it, and then drop that barrel over, and you're ready for the winter.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
right.
And that was the way that the neighbors knew that it was fixing to get cold.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. Boy, that seems like such a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. And lawnmowers with no engines, no motors, just that little thing you push through the yard.
There was a guy yesterday on right around the corner from your house on Weather Ridge.
Yeah.
Mowing his front yard with one of those little clipper mowers.
Really?
He was out there doing it.
Wow.
And but it was good. Now and I got a lawnmower story, but my neighbor, when I was growing up, he had a multi-use for his lawnmower. It was an electric lawnmower.
Yeah, I remember some of those early ones.
Yeah, they were electric. But now when he cut his grass, then he'd have to take the motor off of his lawnmower.
Right.
And take it in the shop and put it on his table saw, because he used that same motor in 2 locations. And then he'd do his carpentry work, and he'd take it off.
He'd go mow the grass.
Yeah. Now, if I'm lying, I'm dying, Jim. When you come over to my house, this man made a homemade table saw and carved the gears for the rip fence out of a wooden block. And it still works, because I bought it when he passed. I have this saw in my garage with a lawnmower motor on it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I want to show it to you.
I got to see that. When I come to look at your gutter guards, I'll come.
Yeah, come on over there and do that.
I'll do that.
I can't fuss, because I had that same idea when my daddy had an electric lawnmower too. So I took that one off when the lawnmower went bad. I rewired it, and I used it for my first little wood lathe, which the wood lathe, as I've told on other stories, is where we put them cedar logs that we borrowed out of Natchez Trade Park and made table lamps out of.
Absolutely. Got a final text this morning. It says, "That's a real mower." REEL.
There you go. A real mower. That's right.
Good deal, texter. I like that. We got about a minute and a half to wrap things up. What anything come to mind that you can enlighten us in a minute and a half?
Well, sometimes you just need to take time to say thank you.
Yep.
And, I appreciate being able to come on the show, but I really appreciate the people calling in. I appreciate the people that use our services and that I've dealt with for almost 44 years now.
Wow.
I lose track after a while. And I found my first business license the other day when I was cleaning out a drawer.
Still good?
It expired back in, and I was working long before then, but when I became my first official business was 74.
Right.
Yeah. $18.50. I was fully licensed back then.
Yeah. My wife was going through some drawers the other day, picking out stuff and sorting this, that, and the other. She laid something on my desk. She said, "I don't know whether you want to keep this or not." And it was my first notary public in 1972.
Oh. Well,
yeah, that goes back a while too.
Yeah, it does. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does indeed. It does.
They're playing that music. I guess I got to shut up and move on. And
I'm gonna do the same thing, because it'd be kind of ridiculous for me to stay if you're not here.
Well, you could babble for an hour.
I could
See how it is.
I surely could. Yeah, man, the Babylonians are leaving, so we're going to get out of here. We'll be back next Saturday morning at 8 o'clock on 93.1 with more of Mr. John Allen and Tricks of the Trade. Join us next week.
All right. Good night, everybody.